Kev, you want to mute your mic while you're driving?
So how do you got Kev's?
What'd you say, Gary?
Never mind. Don't worry.
Welcome back, Wash and Walk-Ons fans, aka Friendship Podcast fans. This is episode Who Gives a Fuck, and I have my new little puppy here, and her name's Arrow, and she's the sweetest little girl of all time. So, everybody say hello to the newest Army member.
YouTube is a must for this. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, turn it off. YouTube right now. Holy cow! Look at how cute.
She's 8 weeks old. She's almost 9 weeks old now, and she's doing really good on potty training. And her and Bane have the cutest relationship ever. He protects her so much, and yeah, this is our new little baby.
We got another dog.
Yeah, man.
So there's 3 dogs now.
3 dogs.
Are you going to become a shelter of some sort of your
Nope.
own?
Oh, but I would get another one. So I would happily get a Saint Bernard.
What is Arrow?
She's a golden retriever.
Okay. She's cute. She's damn cute. You're not. You look like fucking Larry or Harry from Home Alone right now.
Shout out to him.
I was saying, you remember the old like Geico ads they used to run with the caveman?
Yes. That is, holy shit, Gary. Good call. Let me pull that up.
I do look like the Geico caveman.
Hey, if we can get you on as many ads as that guy was doing, I mean,
Seriously.
I'd be doing all right.
Dude,
yeah.
tell me this isn't Drake right
you
here.
You got a better nose than the caveman, but
That's Drake.
Yeah, that's me.
Holy shit. Dude, congrats on the Geico sponsorship, man.
Thank you.
Washed up
congrats on
walk-ons.
the dog.
And the dog.
Was that today?
No, Kaylee. It's Kaylee's dog. She begged me for a while if she could get her. And I finally just decided I didn't have a true reason to say no, other than I didn't really want to deal with a puppy at the moment.
More
And
responsibility.
But I love dogs, so I just realized there was no reason for me to say no. And so Kaylee found a breeder in Vegas and went and got her. Here she is.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, Arrow.
Well, welcome into the podcast. That makes 2 updates, new things for this show. Drake has an extra dog, and Gary has internet.
Shout out to Gary in his
Finally.
abode.
The lockout is over. Internet is here. I honestly thought this might never happen. Thought it might be Library Gary forever. And which it'll be remembered. We have the Library Gary shirt. It's up behind me. It's right here. It's hung up in the rafters forever. And any shirts that are ever given to me will probably end up there as well. So
Shout out to the tight end U shirt hung up in the rafters as well.
shout out as well in the rafters. I want everyone. I don't want there to be any question as to my unwavering support of the tight end position. So
Is that your favorite position?
I'm gonna go give Arrow back to Kaylee real quick.
Sounds good. Sounds like a good time to introduce Kevin. If Kevin wants to unmute his mic, I think we have turn signal Kev. Kev, how you doing?
Doing good, guys. Not going to be a whole lot of turn signals on this one. We are highway bound for the next 3 hours and change, but glad to be able to be here.
Are you?
what's
going?
the? Yeah, where are we going?
I'm going to leave that one to you guys' imagination. We're not going to disclose that.
Wow, we're not.
Oh, you're going
disclosing-
somewhere disgusting, you dirty freak.
Going to
Kevin
kill
is on his way to beautiful Memphis, Tennessee, heading down on his barbecue road trip.
You ever been to Memphis, G-Bone?
I lived there for like 5-ish months.
How did I not know you lived in Memphis?
I think we talked about that when we were in Tennessee. Top 5 places that Kevin could be going. 1, burying a body somewhere in North.
No, see, he can't be doing anything illegal because Kevin's a smart enough dude to know that he would never let his IP ping in different places.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, man. If I was burying a body, the phone would not be coming with me.
That's probably a good point.
And he'd probably have somebody running his phone, like opening it, checking apps and shit, scrolling while he was gone.
Drake, you done this a time or two?
Don't ask me questions that I can't answer, Kevin.
A lot of questions not being answered on the podcast today. The one that is being answered is Gary's internet is crisp. I can see the 4 bars over here on the side. It's 4 green bars. You haven't stuttered or gone blurry one time, Gary. And that has to feel good.
That was my biggest fear, was like we finally get internet. And what's like knock on every single piece of wood that's around me, right?
Yeah.
But I was worried I was going to get internet, and then it was just going to be like I'm frozen the whole time. It's going to be bad. But, we've won the battle. Apparently, also, the internet company had to like take it to the city to get approved. Like the government didn't want us to have internet too at one point.
The government was trying to shut, bro. The university has
Apparently.
tried to shut this podcast down before, and now the government's trying to shut this podcast down. This is getting out of control. All right.
Well, it's funny.
I know I'm an asshole, and I know I talk a lot of shit. But if the government wants us, come get me, pussies. I'm here. You know where to find me.
Contact Geico. They'll point you in the right direction. It's funny you mentioned the university trying to shut us down. We're going to bring that back up here in a second.
Crazy, because I told Kaylee the news yesterday. She thought that was pretty cool.
Wild. But I will say this, Grant. They had to shut down like entire city blocks over there in Iowa City to get this done. So I had somebody contact me today, another person, an additional mercenary. That makes like 7, who works for Imon, who said, "Hey, again, I can help out if I need to." But I'm like, okay, I think we're good. Gary's got the internet.
Well, now that I have internet and it works fantastic, might I add, I am now an unwavering supporter of Imon.
Okay.
Internet. So they have my full endorsement for outstanding service. I've never had another company where they got people from every division DMing me trying to get something done. So
is that your
shout out to the good people at Imon, man?
That's the shout out, no free shout out to the week.
Hey, I mean, well, it came at a cost.
It sure did.
It came at a different cost. I also like to picture that someone tuned into this podcast for the first time. Like, I want to just get a great preview of the Iowa football game. We're getting real excited. Or maybe a Western Michigan fan, fan of the loyal fan of the Broncos is tuning in. Is like, I have no clue what's happening anymore.
Can you imagine there's somebody sitting in Kalamazoo right now thinking, you know what? Why don't I do a little enemy research? Let's find a good podcast from the Hawks. See what they're going to say about the matchup against my Broncos today. They tune in and they hear us talk about Gary getting internet and Drake getting a new dog, and they're like, what the hell did I just tune into? Now Kevin's over there trying to figure out a different way to call into the show. We'll figure it out on the back end. Let's talk quickly about how me and Beth Goetz are best friends.
Talking to us about it, man. I'm real interested to hear the long story.
So,
what was this 30-minute combo you had? You're not an interesting enough guy to have a 30-minute combo. You run out of material in 7 minutes, 8 minutes,
4 minutes.
Yeah,
about as long as I can go in any endurance competition. There's just times in your life where you kind of sit back and you go, you know what? Shouldn't be where I am, right? And last night was one of those nights. I want to shout out Dan Pomeroy, legend.
Wait, that's who it was that invited you?
Pomeroy was the one who invited me.
Oh, you should have name dropped him, dude. We all know that name.
I thought I did, but maybe not.
I don't think you did, man.
Either way, shout out to Dan, listener, very loyal listener and Hawkeye fan. I've gone back and forth with him. We probably communicate once a month over something Hawkeye or other. And he was invited to, I mean, I'll just call it what it was. On the invitation, it was an intimate reception for interim AD Beth Goetz. And
why is she only interim AD? Has she not officially been hired as the all permanent?
it's a good question. And I don't know.
Is she now on a job interview? That sounds like the shittiest option ever.
Yeah, I don't know what the process is for that, because Gary announced that he was stepping away as the AD months, I think like 2 months before he did it. So, AD, athletic director, obviously a big time role at a university. One of those positions you want to get right. I don't know if they want to do it in the off season of football, or I don't know. I think the general consensus out there is that people would be pretty pleased if Beth steps into the role permanently. After talking with her last night, I would be happy with that. She was pretty impressive. Not that I know shit about shit.
She's an advocate of the walk-ons.
Let me tell you, dude. So I was, Dan got me on the list. And initially I was thinking, this is probably just something she'll show up to. It's one of those things where if you work in an athletic director role, it almost feels like a politician role.
Yeah. It's like you're there to shake hands, kiss babies.
You got to go to all these events and these little dinners and meetings, and you're meeting with donors all the time. It's quite frankly, after seeing her on the other side of the job, and I was sort of the consumer of her being the athletic director, man, not a job that I would ever want.
A lot of responsibility.
It's a ton of responsibility. You're on the road all the time. I didn't know how many people were going to be there, and I show up, and I was one of 19 people. Okay, so when you have an hour and a half, and there's only 19 people there, you get quite a bit of face time with the man, or in this case, woman of the hour,
or in this case, both. You got the man and the woman of the hour.
Right. So as Drake mentioned earlier in the podcast, at one time, for those Western Michigan fans that are tuning in, our university tried to shut us down.
Our university wanted nothing of it. They did not want their former. I mean, we paid them, dude. We paid them to then go there and do a service for them on top of the fact that we were paying them. And then they wanted to shut us down because they didn't want us to succeed.
They didn't want to shut us down. They did want to shut down some cool ideas, or maybe there was a misunderstanding or two. Amongst that misunderstanding, an angel in the outfield appeared, and his name was Matt, and he works in the athletic department. I got on the phone with him. I was emailing him back and forth. This was 2 years ago, I think, summer of 21. And I think his official title is Associate AD. So him and Beth were there last night. And I recognized him because back when we got in contact with each other, I kind of looked him up, and I was like, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, yeah, I've seen him around before. So I recognized him last night. We get into it. So we now have a point of conversation. We have something to talk about. And let me tell you.
How good does that feel? When you have a point of when you're not just walking in there with your balls in your hand, you actually have a talking point.
Dude, you know how good that feels.
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
Unbelievable.
Because not only is Tyler Kluver, if I was amongst my peers, if I went to an event with you guys and we didn't know anybody and it was a bunch of people that, like, I'm already out of my element. I'm not a schmoozer. I'm not Kevin Ward going to Striker happy hours and just talking about whatever, because I don't give a fuck. But I walk in, 19 people. I'm the youngest by 30 years.
And the poorest by how many?
30 digits in my bank account. All of these people are way more important, have done way more for the Hawkeyes, and we'll just leave it at that. Beth should be talking to these people, not me. Let's just put it that way. Nonetheless,
she's talking to you.
Nonetheless, I ended up at a standing cocktail table with Dan, Matt, and Beth, and we probably had a conversation for 20 plus minutes. And then I talked to her, she circled back around at some point, and I talked to her for another 5 or so minutes. And they do their research, right? There's only 19 people there. On their way to this thing, they're doing their own research on who's coming because those are the kinds of people
And
that are
there's
at
some fucking bald, jacked podcaster that shows up on their guest list. They're flipping through pictures like they're in the CIA.
Yep.
And they come across Kluver's face. They're like, oh, terrorists. This is the one we got to worry about.
I mean, this is legitimately this is the kind of thing where Beth she's trying to meet people, meet donors. So when you're on top of your shit and you're good at what you do a little pre-research. Okay, this guy's a lawyer in Des Moines. He's done this, this, and this. This is okay. He's endowed a scholarship. Oh wow, he donated this much this year. Oh, this guy over here, he owns this business. He was a Hawkeye in 1986. Yada yada yada. And you're spot on, Drake. She flips the page and she sees probably the shortest resume that she's ever seen of somebody that's come to see her at an event, and it says Tyler Kluver, football athlete,
bozo in charge,
graduated 17, runs a podcast. And she probably thought,
popular one. Hey, popular one.
She probably said, oh, she probably turned to Matt and goes, the fuck are we doing? Huh?
Just big bold letters on the bottom says might wear a cutoff. Like we're not sure yet. Might have to. Could show up with no sleeves.
Could show up sleeveless.
Just so you're not alarmed when you see them.
So I introduced myself eventually after she kind of answered questions actually in this. People kind of were shooting questions at her NIL conference realignment, all this stuff. Very interesting to hear her talk in a setting like that. Really, really cool. And so after that, I finally go up and introduce myself. And she's like, oh, yeah, I know all about you. And I was like, no, you don't. I said that to her. I was like, no, you don't. And she's like, well, we kind of do our research on these things. So I know because we looked ahead, and I'm feeling like an asshole now. I'm like, oh, fuck me. I was like, well, we do a podcast. I kind of do a show with a couple of my former teammates. And she's like, well, it sounds like you guys have sort of struck a niche market and are having a lot of fun with what you're doing. And I was like, that's one way to call what we're doing. That's one way to describe what we do. But yeah, that is. Had a lot of great conversation. I might have subtly, not so subtly campaigned for LeVar to be the next head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Not that she gives a shit what I think. We talked a lot about a lot of things. I'm not even going to reveal her favorite part of the podcast or some of the stuff that I told her, because it might be relevant later. And
you better tell us.
I did tell you. It's about the Cheeto fingers. And she said she's going to come on the show. So that's pretty much cool. That. I said we would love to have you, Beth. It would be great to get you on. I think the people would love to hear from it. And she goes, "Oh, I mean, I hear you guys have fun." I was like, "Well, we do say some things in the podcast that are not probably something that you would want to associate yourself with, but we could tone it back if you came onto the show." And she goes, "Oh, no, you guys are, I'm sure it's all fun and games. You guys are probably great, and I think we could have a great time on the podcast." And I'm like, "Okay, then we'll pencil you in."
G-Bone, that's the athletic director. If you didn't hear that in the beginning part.
Oh yeah.
You know how people say that's my quarterback?
Hey, no stars, Bubba's. We got 0 stars in this podcast.
0.
We got the AD coming on. Fuck
0
stars.
Mm-hmm. 0 stars, 1 AD. That'll be our next t-shirt. But or I'm just gonna put her face on a t-shirt and say that's my AD. She was impressive one-on-one. I had one conversation in our 5 years at Iowa with Gary Barta, and I'm not going to compare the two, but if I was going to compare the two, that's my AD. That's all I'm saying.
Shout out to her, baby.
Yeah.
Beth Goetz. That's my AD.
You were also pitched an idea.
There was I don't want to get too far into that because it would get people were already excited about.
Let's pitch that on Drake and Gary Thursday. By the way, Drake
also
Gary
just
Thursday.
without Kluver, even though he was the one who was told to.
Yeah,
Just without him.
You guys can talk about it.
That's the perfect spot.
Just get him out.
He can't
All right.
stop us.
Yeah, you guys can
Also,
talk.
got to do Drake and Gary Thursday at a different time tomorrow, or maybe I'll just be on my phone because I'm getting a tattoo. So,
All right, let's do the inside baseball stuff after.
Cool.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
Tattoo.
Subscribe. Patreon.
So I just wanted to make sure.
Donate to the
So
kids.
appreciate if for some reason this gets back to you, Beth or Matt. Great meeting you guys. Dan, I know you'll listen. Shout out to you for getting me in there. Who knows if I'll ever be invited back to something like that, but I hope I do.
sounds like you did all right. Sounds like you might be on another guest list.
I think I rep for the brand pretty good. Somebody who I think is repping great for the brand, even though he's been reprimanded by the Big Ten, is Nico Ragaini.
Okay, so first of all, I was going to lead with this. I don't know.
Sounds heated over there.
Brother, fuck the Big Ten.
Yeah. It might
First
be
of all, their reprimand means nothing. First of all, are you going to suspend him or are you going to not? Put your money where your mouth is. No, you're not going to suspend him. You're just giving him a public reprimand. Then shut your fucking mouth. Stop trying to play king of the castle. Stop trying to play the fucking cunt upon their throne. All right? The NCAA and the Big Ten are just crooked ass money laundering, embezzling, dirty ass organizations, only care about themselves and the bottom line. And they're just trying to play their trump card like they have the last say in things because their fragile little egos hurt. Bro, I hate those organizations. They can burn in hell.
Mm-hmm. That. Gary, you got something pulled up there?
Oh, it was the tweet. But
yeah, so this was Ike Holt. Big Ten Conference has announces that Iowa wide receiver Nico Ragaini has been issued a public reprimand for violating the big and Drake, you're spot on with this. If they're not going to suspend him, if he actually suffers no consequence to his playing time, what the Big Ten is saying is, it's like a verbal.
We didn't appreciate that. You hurt my feelings.
Slap on the wrist. We are officially, as the Big Ten, calling you, Nico, unsportsmanlike.
You're a bully.
What'd you have on that, Gary? Were you going to say something? Yeah.
No comment.
I found an additional thing here.
That would be my header on my resume. Coming out of college, boom, first job application. I'm Nico Ragaini, and I have a public reprimand for the Big Ten because I don't take shit from anybody.
And here's a little interesting reference. So this one gives Nico's apology, which
he had to apologize?
He put out a statement, but here's where
KF called him, man.
100%. I want to apologize for my public criticism of Saturday's officiating. I'm a competitive person and player. My comments reflected my passion for the game, and I apologize for my choice of language. I see this as like when McGregor was up at the stand and he goes,
I'd like to apologize.
I'd like to apologize
to
absolutely fucking nobody. Fuck them. Fuck the Big Ten and their fucking dumbass officials. That's where I wish
Connor was awesome, man. That Connor was so awesome.
Well, Connor's king shit talker, but I feel like that's how Nico issued that statement. I'm just gonna throw a little animation behind those words. It does say here the Big Ten Conference announced today Iowa football student athlete Nico Ragaini public reprimand. Big Ten Conference Agreement 10.01 states in part that the Big Ten Conference expects all contests involving a member institution to be conducted without compromise to any fundamental element of sportsmanship. Such fundamental elements include integrity of the competition, civility toward all, and respect, particularly towards opponents and officials. And quite frankly, I don't think that's grounds to reprimand him, even though the reprimand means nothing, because this says expects all contests involving a member. The contest was over Saturday at 6 o'clock. And Nico didn't say shit during that.
Nope.
So the Big Ten Conference considers this matter concluded. Fucking unreal.
Nico's going to decide when it's concluded. All right.
Yeah. See if we can't.
what's the NCAA or Big Ten gonna find me if I say that's a horseshit fucking call or what? Yeah, I don't know. I probably shouldn't have dropped the F-bomb in there, but god damn, though, Jesus.
Don't worry, I won't use that.
Yeah, cool.
He says the second part's my favorite. Did that play for you guys?
Yeah.
He says probably shouldn't have dropped an F-bomb in there, but god damn.
Well, it's like Talladega Nights, where he's like, as long as I say with all due respect, I'm allowed.
Yeah. Oh man. Let's I don't know if Kevin, you're still even here, or if you're in the middle of nowhere. Kev, you got any thoughts on the Nico Ragaini quote?
Yeah, I think Drake's just happy that someone says something more dumb to the media than he did.
Hey, every dog has their day, and what is it? Every king must bend the knee or give up his throne or whatever. And man, I turn it over. He can have the spot. He wins. That is absolutely legendary.
I think the body bags comment is officially buried, and now it's
and so I guess the body bags video is officially buried too.
Yeah, because the Discord was trying to find it, and now I bet we could scrap it together if we really wanted to.
Call man, what was his name?
One of the reporters.
One of them, man. And if you said his name, it would be the one. But
I bet they still got
Lice the Cow. Call Lice the
still
Cow. I know he had it.
He's got it on a flash drive somewhere.
He might.
It's on a
VHS. in a favorites archive, just little snippets from his favorite. And when somebody says body bags in an interview in Iowa football, that probably makes the cut.
It's on a CD that says Drake Kulik greatest hits.
There's a couple of those. Yeah, man. So that's I don't know. It's such a weird deal. Like, does the NCAA or the Big Ten have any claws? Do they have any teeth, actually? I almost asked Beth that last night. I was like, how legitimate is the NCAA, and are they going to be around much longer? But I didn't say it. Kev, you got thoughts?
Your thoughts?
I'm guessing if you probably got 3 strikes and they might for a quarter type of deal, but probably nothing worse than that.
Like if he talks shit 2 more times and he has to sit out a half. Yeah.
Honestly, against Western Michigan, worth it. He should just go all out.
Scorched earth.
Yeah, just like I get 3. All right, I'm using my 2 more. I'll take out the quarter. Fine.
Yeah. Fine. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
Interesting to say the least. I don't know. Wanted to make sure we brought
Nico messaged me back on Instagram, and he said, "I hope KF just suspends me from media for the rest of my career."
So that he doesn't have to walk out there and do it. Yeah, he would probably appreciate that. Also from media yesterday.
I think the lesson there is that media is not your friend. Nothing good can come
we're
from
media.
We are media, yeah.
The washed-up walk-ons are your friends.
The walk-ons are your friends. I will say this. If Nico will oblige us for an episode, which I believe he will, that could be
He will for sure. Nico is an all-time dude's dude.
He's a guy. That's a guy.
Everybody in the receiver room, like the old guys, Nick Easley, man, who else did we talk to? There was another dude I remember talking to that both said Nico was their boy.
Probably all of them. I know this. People are very excited for him to, and who knows, maybe he finds an 18th, 19th year there at the university, but people will be excited for when he comes on. Also announced yesterday, Noah Shannon's appeal was denied, and this one is baffling. This one is a little bit baffling. I don't, off the top of my dome, remember how many games the guy who supplied the weapon in the Alabama shooting earlier last year got suspended. I don't know about some of the other suspensions that have gone on for stuff way worse than what Noah Shannon did, which was, by the way,
the shit that Urban Meyer was covering up at Florida back in the day.
I mean, Jesus, right? And Noah gets an entire year.
Talk about turning himself in.
Talk about the punishment not fitting the crime. This is unbelievable. I mean,
It's despicable. It is absolutely despicable because they're making a point out of a kid.
I would
they're
almost
doing is making a point. It's
I
the
almost-
crookedest organization in the fucking world.
I almost wish that and they never do this, but I wish that somehow, some way in another universe, they just ran Noah out there in pads and started his ass. Said, okay, take our wins away. We're playing him.
Yeah.
Do it. Take our wins away. Do it. Forfeit us and see the backlash you get for the punishment you're trying to instill on the kid here.
I'm fully in line with that, Kluver.
I mean, that would how insane would that be?
Because it's what should happen. Dude, he turned himself in. He was like, I guess I didn't know how serious this was. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Here, I'm admitting it to you. And they're like, bring the gavel?
And I'm pretty sure in Noah's case, it was not on Iowa football games.
No.
He also was of age.
He was also 21.
Like, he didn't break the law.
Like, and he's already sat 3 games or 2 games. I mean, like, holy shit, what are we doing? I don't know. I don't know.
It's pretty sad that an organization like that would act like they just act like so fake, man. Like they have players' best interest in mind. Like the NCAA does not have their athletes' best interest in mind whatsoever. They have they, themselves, and them in mind.
It makes you wonder if they even take a look at the case, or what. It doesn't even make sense.
They were making a point.
Yeah, it could be. It could be it. And probably the last piece that we'll talk about from Media Day yesterday, although KF had a lot of good stuff to say, we have Cade. And this was some fantastic stuff as well.
They're going to come.
They are going to come, dude. Let me tell you. I think everyone's going to come. Get this going here.
I think, our level of communication up front and with me, the backs, and, really everyone just being on the same page, because we know these guys are going to come a lot. I mean, there's but I mean, we have to be on key with our hots. We got to be on key with our protection. So,
I mean, dude,
it happens to the best of us, man. It's okay.
Hey, how much is he enjoying life right now? Does it look like he's having fun?
Dude, that's
what you want out of your quarterback, man.
Just giggling.
That's what you want out of your quarterback.
Well, the other thing you want out of your quarterback is him to be 100%. And he said he's the closest he's been in a month, and that this week is his first full week of practice this season. So, and I thought he looked injury-wise better week 2 than he did week 1. And if he says that, then that's what we want to hear out of QB1. That's big time, because, again, as we'll get to here in a second, and we know that if you're a loyal Walk-On Army listener, you know the preview episodes, especially for the non-con games, are really just not preview episodes. But we'll talk a little bit
about Northwestern, centralized Michigan, Detroit.
Right. But next week, when they roll into Happy Valley, we need Cade's quad at about 300% if we can get it there. So
BPC 157.
All the needles and injections that you can find.
Great shirt, by the way, he was wearing there. Kind of lost in the.
Was a great shirt.
Great shirt.
I'm so
lifting weights.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of the gear that the guys get year in, year out since we've been gone, because there's always at least 1 or 2 pieces that was like, where the fuck was that when we were there? They are gonna come though. Kevin, any thoughts on? He said they're gonna come, and they're gonna come a lot. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think we're all going to come a lot.
I think we are.
And that's honestly just fantastic.
The opportunity for a t-shirt there, which someone suggested to us on Twitter, they're going to come a lot. Cade McNamara is one that we would absolutely print. I don't know if I have the nuts DM Cade and be like, hey, can we put your name on this shirt?
Oh, I will. Get it
Seems
mocked
like,
up.
Seems like, I mean, it's, yeah, you just put the phrase on a shirt. I mean, I think it would sell like hotcakes.
Oh, well, what's the graphic? You got to give her on a pocket tee or something.
I was just thinking, literally put the quote. They're going to come a lot. Cade McNamara. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Simple. So funny.
And even if he didn't want his name on it, we could just make it black and gold and put QB1.
We could just say,
You do like the NCAA 14. It just says like number 12 on it.
yes, QB hashtag 12.
QB12.
We know they're going to come a lot.
It's like, oh, I wonder who that was.
Before we move on to some football stuff, one more thing that was announced today was this. And I don't know if it's really relevant because I don't know how to freaking zoom in on that. But for those who are watching, it says Iowa linebackers coach Seth Wallace indicates that Ben Kueter's wrestling plans have changed in light of the gambling suspension for Hawkeye wrestling at heavyweight. Aiming to put on weight for football and wrestling, Ben told me 240 to 245 is his target for both sports. And I don't know if this is really news. I thought that's where he was trying to get to anyway. But I guess maybe the timeline moves up. Was the heavyweight someone who got suspended as well for gambling on the wrestling team?
Must have been.
That's what that sounds like. So I guess he's maybe slotted in to be the guy there immediately this winter in spring. So, again, big kid. I think he was rolling at 220 plus by the time he came in this summer. It's not you probably aren't going to get the best, the most ideal 20 pounds of muscle put on in 6 months to a year, but you could get up there for the time being and then work on it in the off season. Then that sparked some discussion in the Discord about his potential in both sports. I will echo again that this kid is signing up for the absolute meat grinder of a college athlete experience. And
nobody's ever gonna have signed up for something worse, dude.
Can't be.
You have school on top of the hardest sport there is, which is wrestling, and the most time-consuming sport there is, which is football.
Dude. That kid.
He doesn't know what he's signing up for. He know, like, in his mind, for sure, he's Superman because of everything he's accomplished. Like, nobody's been able to prove that they can stop him yet. So why should he believe that they can fucking stop him?
He shouldn't. He
shouldn't, right? But we know what he is like undertaking right now, and it's unfathomable.
His body is going to hurt a lot.
And his mind is going to be mush. Dude, from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day, his mind is going to be spinning.
Hey, but I believe that there's some, again, I view humans on a spectrum.
Yep. And I'm on the spectrum.
I think maybe 2 out of 3, maybe 3 out of 3 of us on this podcast are.
Gary, you think you're spectrum kid?
No,
I think I am.
Yeah. Either way, I truly believe there's some humans that are just better at everything, and they're just better humans. They're more productive. Their output, their health, the way they can communicate with other people, the way they can get shit done, do things for humanity. I think Ben Kueter might be that guy. He might be.
Oh, he's that guy.
He might be.
I don't understand how he still has to deal with the same amount of time that we do, though.
That's 24 hours in the day.
There's 24 hours, bro. And the next day's coming, and the next week's coming, and the next season's coming, bro. And the next paper's due. The next test is happening. The next offense is showing up in the game plan packet, and you're on the wrestling mat. Like, I just don't understand how you could do both with the time you're allotted. If he had 48 hours a day, I believe 100% somebody like him chalk it up. He's going to do it. No problem. He's got 24 hours.
I think we might have the closest thing that the human race provides.
Is he going to the sun?
Is
he jetting up to the sun to get energy every day? Like
he might be Iron Man, dude.
He's Icarus.
Well, that's Superman. That's Superman.
He's powered by
Superman is sun.
If there was somebody with superpowers, we might have him in Iowa City, and his name might be Ben Kueter.
Yeah. What if he's just the best athlete of all time?
It could be.
What if he just can do it?
Bubba, sign me up. You think jerseys are gay if he ends up winning national titles
first of all,
in wrestling?
Hey, guy on the far right.
Hey, he starts winning national titles and Butkus awards for the Hawks. I'm gonna get his jersey tattooed on across my back. Okay, I'm now Drake Kueter if he goes on and just torches for the Hawks for 4 years.
He said, "You think jerseys are gay?" I didn't know where that one was going. Oof.
Gary, I love you, man. You're such a good guy.
It's an experience as a fan that I'm excited to be a fan of Ben Kueter and watch him just from a performance high-end achievement level attempt what he's about to attempt over the next 4 years. Because you're right, if he's wrestling at a top 3 in the country in kind of level, and then he steps on the field in the fall and is crushing fools. Well, guess what? This is the Ben Kueter podcast then. This is the Ben Kueter fan podcast.
This is just the Ben Kueter suck show.
Suck show. Yeah. I hope it is. I hope he's Clark Kent. Unreal.
I saw one of the craziest videos of jokes of all time on the internet. And I can't say it right now, but,
I don't know.
When this podcast ends, let me tell you this joke.
Okay. Seth Wallace, by the way, is the one who was talking about that. Gotta love Seth Wallace. Goat Wallace shirts will be in the store soon. The store that is run by none other than AdCraft Apparel and Merchandise. Kevin once said, actually, I think he said it multiple times. Kev, you can chime in on this, that the Goopy tee, the DHT Goopy tee, is the softest t-shirt you've ever owned in your life, bar none.
It is the most comfiest t-shirt in my closet by a wide margin.
By a wide margin, he says. And if you want to wear apparel like that, first of all, you can go to our store, hawkadelic.com, find the Washed Up Walk-Ons tab run by AdCraft. But 2, if you ever have merchandising needs, you got a Little League baseball team, you got a fundraiser you want to do for the local high school team, they need their merch done for the year so that the fans can rep the squad. You got work uniforms that need pumped out. AdCraft are your people. AdCraftWebstores.com. Start your custom web store today. Best merch in the goddamn game.
Yeah, how was that for ad reads, Libre? How's that for agreeables?
Yeah, for real. That guy. Sheesh. Kev, talk to me, man. You're in the car. Is anything percolating in your brain right now this week with the betting slate coming up? I know you probably start to feel a tingle in your nuts as Thursday, Friday, Saturday comes along. It's like there's just so many lines. There's so many over-unders. A lot of games to bet on. A lot of action. What looks good this weekend?
I don't give picks without the soundbite.
Well, in that case,
Kevin.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up.
Kevin is just so abrupt.
Don't you love that? I cut that 4 years ago, and it could be so much better. But because it's funny, I've left it the same.
It is like the Kevin is whacking you over the head with noise.
Kevin. Is that a totally different pace than the song? Oh, shit. Kev, tell me what you got.
Well, thank you, boys. Yeah, man. There's a few picks out. There's a few games out there that I really like. I'm having a hard time narrowing it down to 3, but I'm going to start with Penn State minus 14 and a half at Illinois.
Yeah.
Illinois' defense has been borderline atrocious so far. And they've really not shown me anything that makes me believe that they can keep that game close. So give me the Nittany Lions plus 14 and the dreaded hook. I hope it doesn't come back to haunt me, but I'll lay the points there. Give me the Nittany Lions.
Wait. Who are they getting 14.5 to? Ohio State?
Illinois.
Oh, he said the Nittany Lions.
Penn State. Minus
Yes.
14 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought he said plus 14 and a half.
No.
Okay.
Boy, that'd be my guarantee of the week.
That would be
Yeah.
lock of the century.
Yeah, I was going to say.
My second pick that I think I like is the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Let's
Minus
go.
7 at home versus Virginia Tech. Rutgers, I think, is 2-0 versus the spread so far this year. Virginia Tech just had that hurricane game versus Purdue last week. They actually had a lot of guys banged up on offense. I think Rutgers continues to look pretty solid in the preseason here and goes on to win this game by over a touchdown.
Okay.
And then my last pick, I'm kind of in between 2 right here. But I'll go with the super dog. Give me Western Kentucky plus 29 versus Ohio State. Ohio State is 0-2 versus the spread so far. They're winning, but they're not winning in typical Ohio State fashion. So I'll take the over 4 touchdowns for Western Kentucky.
Wow. That would not have been my third pick.
It's a big line.
Hilltoppers, man. They're normally fun to watch.
Because they throw it all over the place, huh?
They launch it.
They got an offense, yeah.
They don't run it.
They take the top off like every other play. They
They take the hilltop off, huh?
I didn't even think about that. Awesome mascot, by the way. One of the best mascots in the country at Western Kentucky.
The hilltop.
Oh, it's not a hilltopper.
What is it?
It's so much cooler. Let me hold on.
So much cooler. Well, while you find that, I'm going to give a couple of my picks. I usually make these pretty off the cuff. I'm seeing Wisconsin minus 19 at home against Georgia Southern. And I know they've struggled in the first 2 weeks. I would love for them to struggle all year, but I do think that this team led by Luke Fickell is going to get a lot better each week. They're still finding themselves as a program, and I think they find themselves a little bit over top of the spread here. I think they win by at least 3 touchdowns. So give me Wisconsin minus 19 on Georgia Southern. I'm seeing this Iowa State Ohio line has me a little bit in a mind fuck right now. Iowa State is going to Ohio. Obviously, we just played them. We kind of know what Iowa State is. They're not great. Are they a 500 ball club? Probably. But they're better than a field goal against Ohio? The Bobcats? I think I'm taking Iowa State. Minus 3 against the Bobcats. And then take me all the way down to, where did I see it? Or did I even pick a third game? Let me find a third one here. Grant, can you show us the mascot while I find a third game here?
Big Red.
Oh my God. It's the Kool-Aid Man.
He's awesome. I like to think this is what like if you asked a 7-year-old, can you draw your imaginary friend for us? This is what he would look like.
It's exactly what
Look
they would
how
draw.
insane the mascot's camel toe is.
He's got a
All right,
big
maybe we pick a different photo.
He's got a front. He's got a front puss there. I know what I was gonna say. The Iowa under is just a really good pick, you know. And I don't even know what it is. Let me click in here. Iowa, Western Michigan, 28.5. Give me the over underline.
So I got a question here. So if I was getting criticism of taking the over every game, was not in solidarity with our defense, how come taking the under every game is all of a sudden there's no criticism, no solidarity with the offense?
It's profitable.
It's just science, Gary.
I know, but some things are bigger, right?
Not this.
So sometimes it's more about your loyalty.
But I'm not even not loyal to the offense and KF and the boys.
I wasn't either. But when I was like, you know what, I want to show being solidarity with the boys. We're going over every game. I was like, oh, you're not trusting the defense, Grant.
I'm not the one who brought that up. I don't know who brought that up. I'll just say this: I'm pretty sure through 2 games, Iowa under hit both games.
Yeah, no. It's 2-0.
So
it's like 27 of 30 in the last 3 years.
For real.
Do you think Vegas just gets so mad every week when they're like, there's no way they don't go over 15 points, right? And just 95% of America just takes it and they win every time.
Yeah, yeah, because all of that's done through like formulas, like calculations and stuff. The computer spits out those lines. And then somebody over there has got to be like, hey, I know we say it every week, but this Iowa line, can we put that shit at 28? Like, we know they're not going to score, right? And then they're like, nah, we got to go with what the computer says. We trust the computer. And then every week, it's just Iowa under.
Was it
Iowa
last
under.
year or was it 2021 where they had like the lowest total
last year
in college football history 3 weeks in a row? Like they kept breaking the record.
I think it was last year, yeah.
It was last year. It was at 30 and a half at one point.
It got real low. I'm
What's
taking
the
the
line
Iowa
this
under.
week?
I can't find it. It only is giving me the this current.
All right.
So I don't care what it is though. Like I think it's like 40, maybe
42 and a half.
42 and a half.
Thank you.
We're gonna go undie.
Undies on that. Me undies on that. This segment, by the way, is brought to you by Betfred.
Shout out to Frederick.
So
did he load money in Kevin's account?
I don't think so. I think
me and Fred still got beat.
All right, well then fuck Fred, dude. We're no longer a Betfred podcast.
But we are.
We're not.
Oh, we are.
Nope.
Betfred
this is
podcast.
Not a Betfred podcast.
Hit up Freddy's for all your custards.
You are unreliable.
We will figure that out. But Betfred, download the Betfred Iowa app.
Or don't, because they don't hold up their end of the deal.
Well, it could just be technical difficulties, right? Grant, your picks.
Oh, all right, yeah. So little bit of a rebound week. I think I had some people very nice. They're like, Grant, got some picks for you. Sending it to us on Twitter. I appreciate that. But ultimately, this time, I think it's just we got to go back to the basics, right? We just got to trust the head. Too many thoughts going on last week. So for this week, we've put together first one, Purdue plus 2.5. They're playing the Syracuse Orange this weekend. Syracuse, much better team last year than this year. I know some people.
Is it at the Carrier Dome?
It is not at the formerly named Carrier Dome, but this one is at Purdue this year. So I'm taking Purdue. And then I like this one, a little upset potentially. Missouri plus 5 versus Kansas State. I think Eli Drinkwitz is kind of nerdy, but I like him in this spot. Missouri just kind of like mucks one game up a year against a team that's a lot better than them. Like you look at halftime and it's like the 11 a.m. slate. And you're like, why is Missouri only down 3?
You're right about that.
5 team in the country right now.
You're right. They always do have those games where they're like, hey, Missouri's playing tight, huh?
Yeah, they like to just mess around and make things close. So I'm gonna take Missouri in this one. And then my last one, I already wrote it down. So I'm gonna have to take it anyway, although I don't like talking about the same game twice on here. I have Ohio plus 3. I'm going against the Cyclones. I'm going against it.
Hey, we like a little controversy around here.
I like if I see the MAC, I have to do it. I have to. Someone has to support the MAC here, and it might as well be me. So I'm gonna lean on Rufus, the Bobcat this week. Another great mascot over there in Ohio. Also, their QB is legit. Like he's a Rourke over there. His brother, I believe they're related. Had the best touchdown of the NFL preseason. That was that Jacksonville Jaguars like diving throw for 40 yards. It was awesome. If anyone remembers that. Does it have anything to do with this game? I'm not sure. But their current QB, he's going to be a guy that goes into like a Thursday night game in 4 years and wins it. And you're like, oh yeah, remember this guy, Mac Legend?
I didn't listen to a word you just said after Rufus the Bobcat.
Dude, is this Mel Kiper?
Yeah. Tell you what, man, we got a guy, Rufus the Bobcat here, one of the best fucking mascots in the MAC. I think they get it done against Iowa State. Tell me different.
Well, have you seen the video where Rufus gets in a full fight with the Ohio State mascot?
Really?
Oh yeah, they just go at it.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna try to find it.
And you know what? I don't know. It would be interesting to. I don't know if I'd like.
We need a side bet between you two. We need a side bet between you two on whoever wins that game on the spread.
On the -3 +3 line. Okay. What do you want to do? Any suggestions?
I don't know. Drake,
we're already.
I don't know, but I
gambling.
think I'm taking Gary's side on this because Iowa State's going to be in a post-Iowa hangover.
So here's something I've been workshopping for a little bit. You guys let me know what you think of this.
Okay.
I think there's a couple situations that I've seen in college football where Power 5 opponents choose to go to spots that don't make sense in their first 3 weeks. Like you had North Carolina State went to UConn week 1, played a close game. Or even like you have like Alabama's going to USF this weekend. Like why take the risk so early in the season? Like why not just go play Furman and win by 100 like everyone else? I don't understand. And it's like what the same I look at with Iowa State going to Ohio. It's like why? They should be coming to you if anything.
I do agree. This is a weird schedule. I don't know why Iowa State would ever agree to go to the Ohio Bobcats. I don't know what that is.
Money.
You think Ohio's
they just come to you for a game, you have to pay them. Versus if you do a home and home series.
okay?
Right, but is it worth it then like when you might lose? Like why take the risk?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Scheduling's a weird thing. I do think it would be interesting to see Iowa State fans sort of melt a little bit if they are 1-2 with a win against Northern Iowa and then 2 straight losses, and then they're going into the Big 12 slate. Pretty not confident at that point. And just because we're in the space, so we kind of adjacently see the media and what's going on from that camp, it would be interesting to hear the thoughts and meltdown they were having. To make this a preview, since we've got a few minutes left here, do we have any further thoughts about this Western Michigan game? I was thinking earlier.
Do I not get to give UFC picks or what?
Oh yeah, you can get picks. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me pull up to see the spreads first.
Okay.
Of UFC, right. So that you
No,
can
go ahead and go.
All right. I'm going to give you Roman Kopylov. He beats Josh Fremd. I'm going to give you Valentina Shevchenko and getting her belt back. She fought a bad fight against this girl last time. It's not going to happen twice. And then the third pick, I'm going to go Kevin Holland beats Jack Della Maddalena, and I'm going to bet that's an underdog.
Holland is an underdog. Shevchenko is -170, which I would allow.
I hope so. She's the challenger, dude. I picked the challenger. I would hope you would allow that.
Kopylov is -370 though.
Okay, I'm sorry that I know a good fight when I see one.
Parlay it.
Yeah, all of my UFC picks are always with a you should parlay this recommendation.
Yeah. So Drake's is always
because I haven't been worse than 2 for 3 yet. So like you're getting that third fight at a huge odds advantage. Like,
sort of, yeah.
Bo went into that Tai Tuivasa fight with a huge odds advantage.
Yeah. So for anybody who likes the UFC, watching people get punched in the face or choked out on a canvas, there's your picks for the weekend.
Fighting is so hard.
The short of what we said on Monday's podcast was that this is a week where you want to stay healthy, this is a week, and that was specifically in regards to McNamara. This is a week. I even suggested, like, hey, maybe we take him out. The other guys, they thought, well, fuck it. Maybe you just rest him. I think I lean towards playing him the whole game and getting him good reps, because I do think him missing time in camp and a little bit of time in these first few weeks of the season has shown with some of the passing game timing and overall chemistry of the offense, which you would hope continues to build here. Defensively, I've heard these guys offensively are not good. This is like, I don't know, Kev, what's the mindset here defensively? Like, they don't get a single point, or the defense doesn't eat for a week, like that kind of thing. Like, just play the most fundamentally sound defense you possibly can in the black and gold and just walk out of there with a blank in them. Or, I mean, I guess the mindset probably doesn't change, but what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as every week. You're going to try to play the best football you possibly can, and you don't want any minimal mistakes. You want to play really fundamental football, and yeah, I mean, you want to beat the piss out of them. It's no different than any other week.
Dude, we better have an offensive mindset of run it down their fucking throat, man. They're starting to get into like prove a point territory. Back to back uninspired rushing weeks.
Yeah. I think the one thing you probably want to avoid here is, and I don't know if it's not like we're coming, I mean, it was a big time environment, is the fan worded trap game, if you will. I never bought into that. I don't think we ever really bought into it as players, but I know some people from the outside say, oh, you had the Cy-Hawk rivalry. You had to go into Ames, big time environment, block out the noise, win the Cy-Hawk trophy, bring it back to Iowa City. Now you got to play these jokesters from up there in directional Michigan. Might look past them because you know you got a big one that following week. I just don't think that that's something that I think being on the inside before and knowing these coaches and how the staff works, it's just something that they really are able to keep away from. They just coach the right way.
I mean, I don't know how you even possible to look past the game, right? You don't even start thinking about Penn State film until Sunday evening of the Penn State week, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
and I don't know.
You're just watching film on the opposing team, so there's no like.
I think
ability to look
right. And I think that people on the outside, Kevin, sometimes think like, oh, these guys are probably just looking ahead and watching film on Penn State. They're probably trying to get a little extra. And I don't think that some understand that Penn State is not a thing. There is nothing like the personnel for Western Michigan is up on the board right now in the hallway. Like all of the film is Western Michigan film. There is no looking ahead, and I don't know how to get that across any more clear. Like Drake said, I think they should. They need to come out and absolutely drop the hammer. So,
before we leave here, can we talk about who and why, who shaped Michigan, and why is it shaped the way it is?
It's a mitten.
It's a great question. Two parts.
Like, there's two parts to it. And they're not connected at all. And one of them's connected to Canada.
That is true.
Well, yeah.
It's only kind of true. Talking about the part was connected to Wisconsin?
There is. Okay. Yeah. So theoretically, this top part, the shelf, I don't know. What do they call that?
That is a peninsula.
Well, I know what it is. I know what the land fucking mass is if we're going to get geographical. But that's connected to Wisconsin. So I don't know. This probably had something to do with like the Louisiana Purchase. Kevin, resident history buff. Who bought this land and why is it not part of Wisconsin and it's part of Michigan? Do you have any idea?
Well, everything east of the Mississippi, we won from the British during the Revolutionary War. Why it's part of the state of Michigan and not Wisconsin, I do not know off the top of my head, but it's probably pretty interesting. I might look it up.
That may be a story we get into. Could be more interesting than the actual storyline of this football game this weekend. If you're going to Kinnick, cheer loud and proud, because some of these, sometimes students leave at halftime of these games. It could get a little bit less rowdy, environmental, right? Give it up for the boys. All I have to say is these guys are going to come. They're going to come all day. So
Video, Gary.
Ohio State mascot Brutus attacked. He's running on the field. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, he's beating the shit out of him. Or he's trying to. These guys are just brawling. And that Brutus is like, dude, what's going on? I didn't sign up for this shit.
Okay. Brutus does a great job staying in character. The other guy, a lot of mascot fouls there. Helmet came off.
Dude.
But Brutus, he stayed in character the whole time.
Drake, who you picking in that UFC fight, Rufus or Brutus?
Rufus really showed absolutely no skills at all there, so I'm going Brutus all day, every day.
Yeah, Brutus wasn't even trying, and he got up twice.
Yeah, Brutus is probably minus 250 or 300 in that fight at least. So throw that on the parlay as well. Enjoy your time in Kinnick if you're going to the game this weekend. Otherwise, we will be back on Monday for the recap. If you're part of the Patreon, check out Drake and Gary Friday. Fun show that's been going on later part of the week. Until next time, we'll talk to you then. Peace.
Hey,